Hello, welcome to Pilates Matwork. And today we're going to start standing and then we're going to come down to all fours. We'll be on our back, we'll be on our belly, we'll be on our side, and then we are going to end seated. That also said, we will not officially be using any props today. However, I've got a folded blanket out because I may need knee cushion when we get to all fours work. So just be mindful, you can always bring in what you need. And then of course, I've got my little lumbar support here for roll downs and roll ups as I need that. So bring in what you need. Otherwise, you don't officially need anything, but we're going to start standing today. So just take a moment and look at your posture. So I'm just going to turn sideways here just so you can see. And for a moment, look down at your feet. Are the big toes even to each other? And the reason I say that is because, so to a trained eye, I've actually got a little bit of rotation in this right hip and shoulder. I gave myself functional scoliosis years ago carrying heavy bags, even though my spine is completely straight. So just kind of be mindful of that habit. So if I'm not paying attention, then my right foot will always be forward of my left. So I have to work at it. And notice if your hips, knees, and toes are indeed pointing forward, or if your feet are turned out or turned inward. If you're able to turn them more forward, more parallel, go ahead and do that. If you can't, for whatever reason, just do the best that you can do. So knees are going to be a little soft here, meaning they're not locked out. Pelvis is going to be in a nice spinal neutral position. And I'm zipping up through that front body, that nice center line. Strong front will support a strong back. Just letting my shoulders be relaxed down. Good. So eventually what you're trying to look for here with good posture, ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, in that relative alignment. Okay. So once you've got that, hold that. Good. And maybe placing hands on the belly or right below the ribs, and we're going to breathe. So oftentimes I forget to do this because I'm talking while I'm cueing. But as you inhale, you want to try to find an expansion of the rib cage. And then as you exhale, you want a little bit of the belly button coming in towards the spine as you. Now the shush will give you a little bit more engagement in the abdominal region. But if you can't do that, just exhale and take that belly button in deeper. So let's just do a couple rounds here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. We'll loosen up a little bit here. So I'm just going to start with just some gentle knee bends. Good. And maybe add the arms. Good. So not necessarily a squat. Good. Just kind of loosening things up. You can come to a little bit of a march. And then maybe some gentle rotation. Here, let the hips do what they want to do. Let the knees do what they want to do. Good. And then we're going to take this into a ragdoll. So if you're someone where forward flexion of the spine is not good for you, try to do this with as long of a back as possible or just skip it. We won't be here too long. But basically, this is, just loosens up some of those muscles. So I'm just going to kind of turn to my left a little bit. And so kind of think about it as a roll down, just letting those knees bend, arms are just going to dangle and do. Moving to one side, pressing through the legs and the feet as you come all the way up. Coming up, and then we'll just reverse that direction. And coming down, you may or may not touch the floor. That's okay. You just do what you can do. Pressing through the legs as you come back up. Let's do that one more round. Good, and moving through. And then one more time, coming back to the left where we started. Good, and coming all the way back up. Great. Let's come and do some standing roll downs here. So we're not going to come out and do Pilates push-ups, but we will eventually roll down to all fours. So give yourself some space. It's going to be easier if your feet and legs are hip width apart. It's going to be harder if you step the feet closer together, and hardest if you're in the Pilates V. So choose where you want to be here. We're zipped up through that center line. I'm going to nod my chin. rolling that down. So similar to a rag doll. So this took a lot of practice and a lot of opening, not to hinge my hip back here. So that's a sign of tight hamstrings. Let your knees bend as needed. And then once you can come no more, pressing through the feet and the legs, starting from the tailbone, stacking that spine bone by bone, coming all the way up. Shoulders, chin, and head are left to come up. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, exhale, nodding the chin. Good, scooping in that belly button. So if you've got, osteoporosis, just like that, keep a flat back here and bend the knees. Go to where you can go. And then again, pressing through. And stacking right up against that imaginary wall. Shoulders, chin, and head left to come up. Good. Let's dive over a beach ball. Let's take our arms up by the ears. Keep your arms and ears next to each other here. And then from here, good, I'm diving over a beach ball. I'm keeping those ears and arms next to each other. Again, bend the knees as needed. You're scooping that belly button in. And then once you come down here, just walk those hands out and drop those knees. Now, I will actually need knee cushion today, so I'm going to bring in mine. If you're discovering you need knee cushion and you're working on a mat and you don't really have it, fold up your mat to give you some extra cushion there. Good. So spreading the fingers nice and wide here. Good. I'm rooting through the knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. My fingers are flat on the floor, so they're not curling up or doing something funny here. They're flat on the floor. Good. Shoulders are over or slightly behind the wrist. Knees are under or slightly wider than hip width apart. Okay. Tops of the feet are down. Belly button is in. Take a big inhale. Chest will come forward. Pelvis tilts back. This is extension in cow pose. Exhale, press away. Tuck the chin, looking towards the thighs. There's reflection in mad cat. So operate here in the way that your spine needs you to do. Some of you can't come into deep extension. Some of you can't come into deep flexion. So honor the range that you need. And then we'll take this one more time. Good. And then we'll come back to a flat back. We're going to take this into some hip circles now. So basically all you're doing is you're just kind of doing some little circles here. How fast or slow you do them depends on you and what you feel like doing. This can also be done on forearms. And let's take that in the opposite direction. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, good, just come back, little child pose, maybe a little bit of a cupcaking of the hands. You're up on the fingertips like you've got a cupcake underneath there that you don't want to smash. And then once ready, good. We're going to come into a plank, Yes, so we're going to have some different planks sprinkled in here today. So different things for different people. Come onto the forearms if you would like to, if you want to. I'm going to be up on my hands. You can be down on your knees here, forearms or up high, or tuck those toes and find your high plank. Good. Zip up that front body. Press back through those heels. Good. Engage the glutes and the thighs here. Taking a few breaths. Big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more if we can. Big inhale. Exhale. Good. Take those knees down. Child pose. Once you're ready, we're going to come onto our back here. I'm going to move my blanket out to the side or off to the side. And while we're down here, if you're going to use something for lumbar support, go ahead and have that relatively close as well. And we'll take that down. Okay. And before getting started, if you need to kind of manipulate your clothes a little bit here, go ahead and do so. I'm going to roll my shoulders back for a moment. Good. Zipping up nice and tight. Let's take the feet as wide as the mat. Good. So you want to do this work side to side with control. So if you don't have your center line engaged, then you have a tendency to flop or plop over. And the goal is not to get this leg down to the floor. You just want that little stretch. in the psoas. So keeping that center line engaged is a little bit more of an effective stretch, and it protects that low back right along that SI joint, which I personally feel is a very underdiagnosed issue with back pain. You want to take care of that area. And then we'll come back to center. Good. You bring the feet, knees, hips all back into line with each other. Good. Let's take the arms up. Let's go into some chest lifts here. So finding that center line again. Big inhale. Exhale. I'm going to nod my chin. I'm looking toward my thighs. I'm reaching long and strong with the shoulders, but my elbows aren't, or elbows, my shoulders aren't here. They're down. Good. Inhale, lift the arm and lower that back down. Now we're deliberately doing these nice and slow so you can really feel this. We're going to change this up here in a moment. Inhale, exhale, number 3. Reach. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale, exhale. Reach. Inhale, and exhale to lower. Good. One more time like this. Inhale, exhale. Coming up and reaching. Good. And then from here, let's go ahead. Take one knee at a time, right into tabletop. Keep the feet on the floor if that's what you need. Zip those legs up if you want more challenge. Arms come up and lower that back down. Good. So now we're going to take 4 like this. Inhale, exhale. Reach, looking towards the thighs still. Inhale, exhale. Number 3, inhale, exhale. And lifting up and lowering down. 2 more, 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Reaching, so watch the shoulders. Lifting up and lowering down. And we'll go one more time. Inhale, exhale, curve it up and reach. Now options. We're going to go into the hundreds. You can push your feet back down to the floor, or you can stay right here, or maybe take those legs long. The lower you take the legs, the harder you will make it. Be mindful of that. Stay in the C curve. Don't let the pelvis rock. And we'll go right into it. Start pumping the arms. And we inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift up higher. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, reach deeper. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, hold. Woo. And take that down. Woo. Gently rock side to side. Okay, my face is all aglow. It might even be a little bit damp there. Good. Gently take head and neck from side to side. Good. All right. From here, when you're ready, we're going to practice our roll-ups and roll-downs. So from here, I'm going to grab my lumbar support. I'm going to place that right under my lumbar part of the spine. So be mindful, you want to be in the lumbar part of the spine. If you're up too high, you're going to be around the rib cage. If you're too low, you're going to be down in the tailbone, and that's not where we want it. Okay, and some of you may not even need it, and that's great too. So remember, this can also be done with bent knees or long legs. Long legs is going to be a little bit more challenging, so be mindful. And while we're here, get a nice whole body stretch, because that really feels good after those 100. Good. Now from here, arm comes up, big inhale, exhale. Oh, come on, Mary, you can do it. Good. Pulling forward, woo, and taking that back down. Good. So I'm going to move this back just a little bit. It was a little bit too close to the tailbone. Good. So you can come all the way forward with these, or you can come back up. If what you just did was too hard with long legs or bent knees, remember, you can't do to your point of control and come back up. You've got osteoporosis, and that wasn't good for you at all. Do this one, keep a flat back, going to your point of control and coming back up. You will not come all the way down. And then from here, those of you following me, tucking the tail, scooping in the belly button. Reach and lengthen, inhale, exhale. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so placement is everything with that lumbar support. Ideally, you want to come up through center, roll down through center, and your legs not lift. So if I don't have my lumbar support, my legs lift and I come up to the left. So I've got a slight lordotic curve. Inhale, exhale. I think part of that is due to aging. I am 45, even though I don't look it or feel it, I'm 45. And I think the other part is from where I'm so short, standing with hyperextended legs, trying to make myself look taller, put my pelvis in an anterior tilt for so many years, contributing to that lordotic curve. Good. So from here, let's do this one more time. One more time. Inhale, exhale, nodding the chin. Good. So good posture matters, folks. Watch how you stand. Nice soft knees and a neutral pelvis. We're going to roll down here, and then we're going to stay down here. We're going to get into some hamstring stretches and leg circles next. Good. So you can remove this. Now, I will say here, if you are someone who has a tendency to let the pelvis rock forward and back when we're doing different things, this lumbar support can help stabilize the pelvis. So just know it can have more than one use. And I'm not there to personally correct you and see that. So just try that if you're curious. So we can put a bend in that left knee. The right leg's going to come up. Grab behind that right leg. Let your hands travel up as high as they can go. You may not reach as high as me today. That's okay. You do what you can. Micro bend in the knee. Point and flex to that foot. Upper body's grounded here. Upper body's grounded here. Good. And then roll that ankle around in one direction. So some sneaky foot and ankle work here. Roll that around in the other way. Good. So just because of the FYI, at the time of this recording, we're on Friday. And earlier this week on Tuesday, it was apparently National Wiggle Your Toe Day. So in honor of National Wiggle Your Toe Day, spread those toes wide and squeeze them together a few times. Good. Now notice, try to move the big toe only by itself. And notice if the little toes want to come along for the ride. Or for me, it's not so much the three middle toes, it's my pinky toe wants to go with my big toe. Good. Now keep the big toe still, and could you move the other toes without moving the big toe? It can be really hard, and it takes a lot of practice. Good. But there's something to notice. Good. Now from here, we'll back off that stretch. Good. Rolling the shoulders back. We're going to do 4 small and 4 large. So from here, really find that center line. Hips stay grounded the whole time here. And we'll just go 4, 3, 2, 1. And we can take that larger now. 1 with control. 2, 3, and 4, and reversed. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I'll say something here because it happened to me, so I know I'm not the only one. If you're doing stuff like that with the leg circles and you feel this connective tissue through the hip crease kind of pop and move around, not painful, but moving around, smaller range of motion, smaller range of motion. So I changed my big circle a little bit to stop that from happening, and then it fixed it. So be mindful. Good. Now let's take that to the other side. Left leg will come up, taking hands behind that left leg, traveling up high as you can go. Good. Little micro bend in that knee, and we'll go into a point and flex to the foot. Good. And then maybe some circles. Maybe returning to the breath a little bit here if you were holding it. Good. And then once you're ready, reverse that. Good. So let's do that little bit of a toe work here. So try to spread the or not the fingers, but the toes wide and squeeze them together a few times. Good. Now see if you can move the big toe only and notice how it compares to the other side. So I'm much better at it than the other side. Kind of one of those things you have to think really hard. Good. Now see if you cannot move the big toe as you move the other toes. Woo! I don't know if that's even possible for me on this side. Resist the temptation to hold the big toe as the other toes move or try to move on their own. Good. So just little things, little nuances. Good. So from here we go. Smaller circles. We'll go 4, zipping up to that center line. Hips stay grounded. 3, 2, 1, and reverse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Larger circles now. 1. Good. Watch that connective tissue. 2, 3, 4, and reverse. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bring those knees in. Wiggle, wiggle side to side. Good. So we're going to take this into rolling like a ball. Rolling like a ball. You can grab behind the thighs or the shins. I prefer the shins because if you grab back here, people tend to swing. We're not swinging. We're breathing and rolling with the abs here. So find that C curve if you can. Good. And then from here, good. We'll go 1, 2. Careful not to roll back on the neck. 3. If you have a flat back, this won't work. 4. Too much power there. 3. Well, that was 5. Wrong direction. 6. We're going to 8. 7. And 8. Good. And we'll roll that back. Good. And come back down. Let's go to single leg stretch. Single leg stretch. Knees in tabletop position. Zipping up nice and tight to that center line. Good. So from here, good. We're going to find that C curve. Find your chest lift coming up. Good. Right hands right below the right knee. You're going to pull that knee in as you reach that left leg long. Hips stay grounded, no rotation. And we'll switch. And here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And bring it down. Good. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We'll take that into double leg stretch. Double leg stretch. This can also be done with the upper body on the floor if you need it. Exhale. Find yourself in your little ball. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Left side. Inhale. Exhale. And take it down. And we'll wiggle, wiggle side to side. Good. So we're going to come to a seat. Transition in the way that's best for you. You can roll over to your side. You can do a roll up. I love rolling like a ball, so that's what I'm going to do. Coming all the way up here. Good. So we're going to do most of the solve series here. So I'm going to sit up nice and tall. You can sit on that folded blanket or pillow if you've got one of those for knee cushion if you're really tight and need a little bit of a lift. Knees can be micro bent. My heels are as wide as my mat, and my toes are pointing towards the face. Spine stretched forward, spine stretched forward 4 times. So come back to those principles when we did those standing roll down. Same thing, you're just seated. So relaxing the shoulders, zipping up, starting from crown, nodding. Good. So if you can, you want that C curve scoop. Those of you that can't do forward flexion, you can come to a flat back here, but it's going to be a little bit more of a hamstring stretch for you. Go to where you can go, ears by the bicep, starting from the tailbone. Good. I'm going to stack bone by bone, coming back up against that imaginary wall, and shoulders are down. And we will go for number 2. Inhale, slow and controlled. Inhale to stack maybe. So my breathing cues, if they're not working for you, then do the breath that does work for you. At the end of the day, the only wrong way to breathe is not breathing at all, holding your breath. So always just breathe And then the rest may come with you in time and practice. Good. And we'll do that one more time. I used to be, when I first started in Pilates and yoga for that matter, a big holder on the breath. It was very freeing when one day everything clicked. Good. So just keep practicing. Good. And then just relax that down. Good. Let's go to spine stretch side. Spine stretch side. Arms are going to come out here. Good. I want to try to keep my shoulders and my hips in this alignment as I come up and come over. And it doesn't matter how far you come over, but you want your opposite hip to be grounded. And notice if you've got a forward collapse here of the top shoulder, could you open that back up? You'll get more of a side stretch in that opposite side if your top arm is long versus bent and relaxed. So be really active. Good. And then we'll take that to the other side. Noticing now maybe which side might be your tighter side. And then we'll come back up. We're going to do that one more time on each side. Come back over. So another vision you can envision here is on the crunch side, could you try to squeeze the low rib cage and the top of the hip together? Good. And then we'll come back up and taking that over. Good. And then coming up. Good. We're going to take this right into saw, So we're going to rotate. Good. Spine starts forward, reaching around, trying to saw the pinky toe off with the pinky finger. And then we'll come back up. No pulsing here. Rotate, reaching around. Ears by the bicep. Coming back up. Rotate, reaching around. Coming back up. And one more time. Rotate, reaching around. And coming back up. It's time for another plank. So I'm just going to cross my ankles here, coming forward. Choose the plank that suits you. Are you going to be on your hands? You're going to be on your forearms. Are knees going to be grounded or lifted? I think I'm going to do a forearm plank here. So I'm going to take this down. My shoulders are going to be over behind my elbows if you're doing this one. Good. Good. Find your plank wherever you've got it. Pressing through the heels. If you're lifted in the knees, find the length in the torso. Breathe. Big inhale. Big exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Take that down. Child's pose. All right. So since we're facing the floor, let's stay on the floor. Let's come to prone. So I'm going to come all the way forward here. Okay. Good. Legs are going to be about hip width apart. Hip width apart. Good. And then I'm going to take my hands a little forward into the side. Now, if you need to keep the elbows down because deep extension is not for you, so you just lift a little bit versus a lot, then that's okay. You do that. Those of you that are going to come into full swan, though, will come with me. So rolling the shoulders back. Good. We're zipped up in that front body. Inhale. Find your extension without crunching the low back. We're hanging in the shoulders, and we'll lower that back down. Think about it bone by bone. Good. We'll do that again. Inhale. Exhale, number 2. And we'll lower. Inhale. Exhale, number 3. And lower. And last one. Inhale. Exhale, number 4. And lower that back down. Good. Let's get a quad stretch in here. So I'm going to bend my right knee. I'm going to reach back and grab it. Good. For some people, this might be it. Others, just take that from that right hip, reach towards that knee, and you'll get your nice little stretch here. And breathing. It's okay to hold on to pants. Always okay to hold on to pants. And then from here, good, we will release. And we'll take that to the other side. Bending the left knee, reach around, grab your pants, grab something if you can. That might be enough, or reaching from the left hip to the left knee. So we did the back of the leg with the hamstring. We're doing the front of the leg with the quads. And then we'll just release here. Good. Give yourself a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're going to take this into single leg kick. Single leg kick. So I'm going to come up onto the forearms here. Good. I'm zipping up nice and tight to that front body, and I'm pressing away from the floor. So I don't want to hang here. I want to be lifted. Now, squeeze your glutes. This is also a butt exercise. So if you're not squeezing your glutes, you're not going to do anything for your glutes. So from here, starting with the right side, I'm going to kick, kick, lower. Kick, kick, lower. Kick, kick, lower. Kick, kick, lower. Pulse, pulse, 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 lower. Let's change that up. Flex, point, lower. Flex, point, lower. Flex, point, lower. Flex, point, lower. One more time. Flex, point, lower. Flex, point, and lower. Lower it all the way down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. If you need a real quick child's pose here, listen to your body and give yourself that. Otherwise, we're going to come to side series. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to get a drink of water first here. Always practice with water. Good. I'm going to roll onto my left side because that's the side that's going to be closest to the camera here right now. So different things. You can be up here. Just make sure that you're lifted. You're not hanging and you're lifted. You can also be here. You can also be here or here. So choose where you need to be. I'm going to be here. Good. And I want to be on my hip bone. So I don't want to be back here on the glute. And you want your shoulders and your hips to be in this alignment. Okay. Now it's going to be harder if you're in a straight parallel stack. It's going to be a little bit easier if you hinge from the hip and come to a little bit of a 45-degree angle. So just kind of choose what you need. Again, you can also bend that bottom leg if you need to. Starting with the top leg, bring it in line with the hip here. Good. And zipping up through that center line. And we're going to lift and slow down that lower. And 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. Taking into the circles, keep the pelvis strong and stable. It doesn't move with you from the hip socket. We're going to go 1, 2. Good. Take your circles where you can control them. 3. They don't have to be large. 4, 5, and 6. Again, watch that popping around of the connective tissue if you've got that issue. And reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. Let's take this into bananas. So it's going to be harder if you take both arms long in front of you. It's going to be easier if you're right here, right where you were. But zip up. We're going to come into a little bit of a hover. Good. And you're going to use your abs to lift. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it out there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Come onto your back. Once you're on your back, good. Whatever leg that you had on top, take that leg into a figure 4 stretch. So that might be here. It might be here. Find it where you need to find yours. Upper body's going to stay grounded no matter where you're at. Feels so good in that top hip. Circles will get in there every time. Good. And then from here, we're going to take this now into double, no. What do I have here? Single straight leg and double straight leg. That's what I wanted. Okay. So single straight leg stretch. We're going to come up, just finishing up that series of 5. Good. This can be done with the upper body grounded or lift up. Grab a leg, grab behind it as high as you can go. Good. The other leg's going to be in a hover. Only pulse with the leg that you're grabbing. Try not to let the other leg do that. Here we go. Pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, 2, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, 3, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, 4, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, 5, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, 6, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, 7, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, left time, 8, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch. Bring that down. Good. Double straight leg stretch. Legs will come up here. Upper body can be grounded or up in the C curve for more challenge. Watch that pelvis. It stays in neutral. It does not rock forward and back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it down. Bend the knees. So crisscross. Hands behind the head. We're leading with the shoulder. You're twisting from the torso. So ear or elbows, arms are away from the ears at all times. And the legs are going to do the same thing they did in single leg stretch. Hips stay on the floor. So twist from the torso. And when you're ready, here we go. I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And bring that down. Woo! Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Roll over onto your other side or get there the way you need to get there. We're going to take side series to the other side. So try to do your side series the same way you did it on the other side. So whatever you were doing with your arm and shoulder, try to do that the same way. Again, you want to be on the hips. So if you were here in the angle of the other side, try to be that here as well. You know, straight legs here is more challenging. Here, good. Belly button is in, shoulders and hips are in that alignment though. So make sure that your angle is coming from the hip. Okay, so top leg is going to come right in line with that hip. And here we go. We're going to lift 8. I think we did 6. So I'll get this right. That should have been 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's our circles. Going 6, 5. Good. Again, watch that connective tissue popping out, adjust as needed. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reversing direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. From here, find where you're going to do. Both arms long for more challenge, or one hand here for those bananas. And when you're ready, draw up and in. We've got it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it up there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down. Come onto your back. You're going to give that a figure 4 stretch here. So whatever leg you had on top this time, cross that ankle over the other knee. Find your figure 4. Whatever that looks like for you. Upper body is grounded. Grounded, grounded, grounded. Oh, that feels so good too. I think this is my tighter side. Good. From here, when you're ready, good. You transition in the way that you need to transition, rolling over to your side. We'll roll up, rolling like a ball. And we're going to come eventually back to all fours. So again, bring in that knee cushion here if you need it. Okay. So from here, once you're ready, good. We're going to take this into opposite arm, opposite leg lifts. And yes, we've got another plank coming. So from here, good. Find good form, press that floor away, spreading fingers nice and wide. Fingers are flat on the floor. Left leg's going to come back. You can have a little toe touch, a little bit of a lift. You want to, if you can, lift hip height without dipping through the center part of the body. So you want to be Nice and strong in the upper body, nice and strong in the center body. If you're stable, right arm's going to come forward, opposite arm. Belly button is in. When we're ready, we'll take that down. Good. Other side. Good. Taking the right leg back, taking it to the height that's appropriate for your body. When you're stable, left arm can come forward. And notice this exercise. Where do you feel it in the front body, the side body, the back body? So I feel this in my entire core, front and back side, from my armpit all the way down to my hip. And we'll take that down. One more time, each side. Left leg, right arm. Good. Breathing. Breathing. Really draw up and in that center line. We'll take that down. Good. We'll take it to the other side. Good. So this is core strengthening, both in front and back side. This is also a balance challenge. So 2 things in one. Breathe. And then we'll take that down. Real quick child pose here. We're going to come back to a plank. So you choose, are you going to be on your hands? Are you going to be on your forearms? Are you going to be on your knees? Are you going to be up high? Be where you need to be here. And then once you're ready, good. Find your good plank. Shoulders over, slightly behind the elbows or the wrists, depending on where you're going. Find that length. Find the breath. Be a longer one now. You can drop the knees at any time. Inhale. Inhale. Good. Now you can stay here or add more challenge. Left leg, pulse, pulse, lower. Right leg, pulse, pulse, lower without dipping the hip. Left, right, left, right. Left time, left, right, and lower. Woo. Taking that back. Little child's pose, a little cup kicking of the wrist. I worked up a little glow on my face here, kind of feel the heat come right on my forehead. And then from here, we're going to come to a seat. So sit however it feels good to you to sit. Big inhale and reach up. Exhale, take that nice side bend over. Left, reaching lifelong top arm. Breathing and expanding. Moving through center, taking that right into the other side. Again, nice long top arm. Breathe and expand to that side body. Coming back up, taking the hands forward, press the weight around and reach. Good. We'll take the hands behind. You can clasp them back there or just rest them there, taking the elbows back. Open up the front of the chest and the front of the shoulders. Good. And then from here, big inhale and reach. Good. Gentle rotation, gentle twist to the left. The arms can come down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit behind you. And lifting up, moving through center, other side, rolling the shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. You can still look beside you too, but try to look behind you. And then we'll come up and come back to center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you had a wonderful practice and see you again soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.